Hi, I'm Rebecca Barton, and this is my ePortfolio comp video. So just a little bit about me. I just finished my 6th year of teaching. I taught 4th grade last year and taught kindergarten for 5 years before that. I've actually always wanted to get my master's, just kind of put it off for a while, and then lo and behold, I got pregnant with my son and decided that was the best time to go. Some professional goals. I want to become an assistant principal, probably within the next couple years because I'd like to get my feet on the ground at what it's like to teach an upper grade. Then I would like to be a principal after that, and then a superintendent or an assistant superintendent. And with that might mean getting my doctorate. Some personal goals. I'd like to move and upgrade our house, have another kid, which could mean fostering or adopting. And then I also want to take a family vacation and take my family to like Walt Disney World or Walt Disneyland. So the next thing is my leadership philosophy. I just want to highlight on some of the qualities that I'm going to bring as a school leader. I'm going to lead by example. I think it's really important that my actions speak louder than my words as a leader. I also want to encourage my staff to come with me for any problems and to come to me for support. And I want to make sure that they know that I'm going to be there for them. I also believe in open communication. I think over communicating is better than under communicating, and I want to make sure that I'm very open with my staff. A couple other things are I believe in some strong values, and as a school leader, I am going to bring character to the school. I'm going to make sure that I'm doing the right thing, even when it's hard to do that. I'm going to bring grit. I'm going to get done what needs to get done, no matter the obstacles that stand in the way. I believe that quality is extremely important, and if I expect my staff to work at a high standard, then I'm going to do that my own self. Next is the program of study. Just a little clip to show you that it's in here, and a little clip to show you that you can see it and that I've filled it all out. And then my resume, just kind of kept it simple and talked about some skills that I have, my experience, my last few jobs that I've had, and my education. And then let's go to activities. So first is the bibliography, and it's kind of you know, a big mix of topics because I felt like there's just a lot of things that I wanted to look further into. This topic was about religion in schools and understanding how to handle um, religious parties and stuff like that, like Christmas, as a school leader. And then there's some different ones about successful school leaders. There's some on technology and school leaders and the correlation between what a school leader should know with technology. Um, there's some more on what effective school administrators are doing to have effective schools. There is some on how to overcome adversity as a school leader. There is another article that connected mental health to a healthy school climate. I really enjoyed reading that one because, research shows that teachers are leaving the field before it's time for them to retire, and they're saying that they're burnt out, which is essentially true. But what they're not realizing is it's contributing to poor mental health, and their mental health falls back on the climate in the school. And these teachers that are leaving early in the career are leaving because they don't have a healthy climate in their building. And that one really inspired me to make sure that I am working hard to have a healthy climate because it's not only benefiting my students, but it's benefiting my teachers. And it's, mentally affecting our teachers when the climate is unhealthy. This one was essential skills that principals should have in order to be effective. This one talked about making data-informed decisions, and it brought to the fact that administrators are not trained very well in how to analyze data, and because of that, they are just looking surface level at the data and not using it to its full ability to implement the appropriate changes in their schools. This was on principal-teacher relationships. And this one was on creating a climate where students, can benefit. So let's look at a couple district activities that I just kind of want to highlight. I did a clinical supervision presentation. We had Leadership Academy in our district, and I got to present in that academy for 2 hours in the morning. I used my clinical supervision infographic that I created during grad school, and I made copies of it and handed out to all the people that were in attendance. Did my presentation for 2 hours, and then I got to stay to the Leadership Academy, and I got to learn more about clinical supervision from different people in our district. This was a board meeting that I attended. I went on April 15th. It was held from 7 to 9:30, so it was a really long board meeting, but there was lots going on. There was awards, there was teacher recognitions. Our Swim to Wish people had come and did a little presentation because they had just done their big event. I was really interested by the board meeting. I've never been to one, and this one didn't have a lot of people that attended from the district. And I don't know if that's normal for our district, but it kind of showed me that I need to make an effort to attend board meetings when I am a school administrator. This was a FERPA presentation that I did. I presented to a small group of administrators. It was only about an hour that I presented, and then I ended up getting to stay for the rest of the day with my school principal and learned from our special education teacher and different people that are very familiar with FERPA. It was just kind of a refresher course for the principals, but I was very thrilled that I got to give my presentation and present for a little bit. And then elementary, some cool things with the elementary activities was I actually got to be principal for the day on more than one occasion. And it was kind of a all in thing. I handled calls from parents, I dealt with staff absences, and I had to figure out what to do about teacher shortages. I saw kids for behaviors. I had to handle all kinds of situations, and a lot of times it was meetings that my principal was at where he couldn't really be reached. So I had to apply what I've been learning in school and figure out how to handle those situations. I also had our school counselor there in case, I didn't know what to do. There was a lot of occasions that I did that for him. Then this is a day that I filled in for the principal, and I actually saw a student in my classroom, and I had to suspend him for some very unfortunate things that happened that day. It really was a all-in day for me to be a principal and kind of see if some of the rough things that principals have to handle. This was a short presentation that I did in the morning to some of our teachers that haven't got their masters but are considering going and kind of wanted to know what skills it takes to be a successful school principal. So I got to present that infographic that I created in grad school. This was a needs assessment survey that I created. I kind of created it to be used in the whole district, although it only got used at my school this year. I'm hoping that because the district doesn't have anything like this, it's something that they will want to use in the years to come, or they're going to tweak it and kind of find ways to make it work for their needs. But it was nice to be able to get to create that for my school and distribute it to the community and the parents and kind of get some input from that. And this was after school duty as an administrator. I got to fill in for my principal, and with that came after school duty. And so I had to make sure that students were following procedures after school. I had to make sure that the staff was where they needed to be and doing what they were supposed to be doing. I had to make sure that people were leaving safely. I had to make sure cars were going in the right direction, following the speed limit. I had to handle calls and parent concerns after school. This was the school leadership program that I implemented. We did buddy benches this year. So we actually had the fifth graders that had good behavior got to be a part of this team. We had our shop team at the high school create the benches for us. They got to decorate them, and then they got to create a presentation to present to all the classes about the rules of the buddy bench and how things work. And then I also got to attend IEP meetings as an administrator. I actually have never had any kids in my classroom with an IEP, so I've never been to an IEP meeting. So this was very informative to me, and I really enjoyed getting to learn about IEP meetings and how they work. So let's skip to the reflection really fast. I really came into this program thinking that I didn't have much to learn. Not that I knew it all, but more along the lines of being a school administrator can't be that hard. And I also felt like I was going to be doing all these projects that weren't going to benefit me later. And as I continued on, I realized that this program was much more than I thought it was, and that principals require a lot more effort and a lot more than I ever imagined them to be. I also realized that these projects that I were doing were very beneficial. I mean, I used a lot of them in my activities because they were just artifacts that I could use and presentations I could use and handouts I could hand out to my, teachers and stuff like that. But I also learned how essential these standards are and how important it is to be applying them to what I'm doing in this program because I'm going to need to know them when I am a school leader. Secondary activities. So, some secondary activities that I got to do, I got to sit down with the assistant principals at the middle school and reformat their schedule. They were very concerned with, they were concerned and the teachers were concerned with the time in between classes. They were originally had longer times in between classes and they were kind of noticing that students were getting in trouble. So we've shortened the time down between passing periods. It is a very short time. It allows for the kids to have some enrichment classes now that they weren't able to have. Um, and hopefully it's effective and hopefully it works out well. This was a parent and community meeting that we set up together. I got to type up the flyer and we handed it out to parents and community members for this meeting. And it was really nice because they hadn't really done anything like this before. And it kind of brought a lot of people together and showed the community and the parents what they're doing at the high school. It allowed parents to ask questions about what was going on. It allowed for the administrators to share what was going on. It allowed for the administrators to share resources to parents. It was a really cool thing to be a part of. The last thing is the activity form, which you can see is down here with all of my activities. I made one mistake with the standard that it went with, so I had to fix that down here on the function. Here are my administrator verifications. This one was a district and a secondary, and then you have secondary and district, and then elementary and district and kind of all of them. So that's my portfolio. Thanks.